Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Lies, exploitation, and the American dream turned nightmare. This is Big Sugar, a deep dive into the inner workings of the sugar industry. I'm Celeste Headley, and in a new podcast, I'm investigating a true crime story like no other about the men who risked their lives to cut sugarcane. In Big Sugar from iHeartMedia, Imagine Audio, and the teams at Weekday Fun and Novel, I'll unravel a decades-long fight to get justice.
If they were right, then these workers were owed tens of millions of dollars in extra wages.
Listen to Big Sugar wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Welcome to the Neurodivergent Experience podcast, a podcast where we share the lived experiences of neurodivergent people to help create a better understanding for our community.
Join us every week as we bring you honest, raw, and inspiring conversations with specialists, advocates, and individuals who know exactly what it's like to live the neurodivergent experience.
I'm Jordan James, a neurodivergent specialist, father of neurodivergent children, husband to a neurodivergent wife, and author of The Autistic Experience, and I'm joined by my best friend.
I'm Simon Scott. I'm an autistic ADHD broadcaster, actor, and advocate. Join us as we journey into unraveling the neurodivergent experience.
And hello, and welcome back to the Neurodivergent Experience. Scotty, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm another year older.
You are.
Moved
It
along.
is indeed your birthday, or it was your birthday yesterday.
Yes, it was. All day
Yeah, I
yesterday.
forgot to send you a happy birthday.
It's all right. I know you love me. It's fine.
Well, I mean, and I sent you loads of pop characters.
That's
So
what
I was
I mean,
like, have presents, have presents. Presents means more than happy birthdays because
Yeah,
I always forget.
I'm not one of those sorts of people that holds it against people, you know, like if I forget people's birthdays and I'll message them like 2 months later and be like, hello, you had a birthday at some point this year. Hope it was good. Bye. And, you know,
I don't even remember what happened yesterday, let alone that it was your birthday.
Yeah. That's so don't worry about it. That's
oh,
all
no,
part
I
of the fun,
do.
isn't it?
We spent the whole day watching Andor.
Oh, yeah. That's a great, I'm
That'll
glad
do
you
it.
enjoyed my birthday.
I loved your birthday. Sylvia
Yeah.
and I just spent the whole day indoors watching Andor and then went to the gym and then watched more Andor. It's great, by the way. It's got me back into Star Wars.
It's awesome, isn't it? It also tickled my Star Wars nerves as well. Because I kind of fell out of it, not through choice, just sort of lost interest in it, but it sort of trickled back with Andor in a big way. But no, I had a lovely day yesterday. Basically, I got sunburnt playing golf.
Oh, man.
Don't forget to cream the back of your legs. The sun also goes on the back.
Cream should go on the back of your legs.
I was a little red raw this morning when I woke up, but I had a great time playing with a buddy of mine. My mum and dad were very generous and have bought me a really, really cool barbecue, like a proper 24-hour cooking sort of style barbecue.
Ooh,
Get rid of your
nice.
oven kind of barbecue. And so my mum was like, I've bought you a surprise. It's coming on Monday. And at 8:30, the doorbell rang and I saw a big truck pull up and this huge box get pulled off. And both me and Karis were like, what the fuck is this? And they walked through and just went, where do you want this? And as it came in, we were like, oh, it's a barbecue. And the guy was like, you had no idea what it was. I was like, no. And he was like, oh, brilliant. Have a great time. Tried to lift it out of the box, had a back spasm.
Oh, shit.
Brilliant. So spent my evening before my birthday in a sauna trying to loosen my back up and then hoped that it was fine for golf, and it was. And I'm all right. I'm just sunburned now. But I'll send you some pics and some vids. I ended up making some ribeye steaks last night on this grill, and did the proper, put the rub in, got the flavors, and had a great time with it, man. So whenever we get a chance to get you up here and visit, I'll cook you a slap up barbecue if it's not raining, which it absolutely will be.
Well, it was Simon's birthday. My Simon, not you,
brilliant.
Simon. My Simon. He's 24. My son is 24. I feel so old.
Saged.
Yeah, wizened. And it was his girlfriend's birthday roughly around the same time, and his best friend's birthday the next day. So they just had one barbecue at his girlfriend's parents' house. And she's neurodivergent. Her family's neurodivergent. Our family's neurodivergent. We went there, and they had one of those outdoor sort of. It's like some people can have it as like an office, you know. Some people can have it as like an outdoor lounge room,
man cave, or
yeah. You know, they've got it as more of like a setup for like a bar, you know. So they've got those drinks and they've got chairs and stuff, but it's obviously a hut. And they had like a canopy thing up as well. So his girlfriend's entire family just sat under the canopy thing, and then we all sat in the hut completely separately. The only sort of communication we had between the two families was I went and talked to his mum, and I had to make such an effort because of freaking demand avoidance. But I got out and I went and I just talked. And the funniest thing is because I always forget everyone's name. Simon sent me all of her family's names, and I had it on my phone. I was like, Dad, Trevor, Mum, Sarah, Granddad.
It's so nice to meet you.
Tony.
Scroll. Tony.
Oh, 100. No, I was like, Tony. And then I'd walk up and like, hi, Tony. And I was like, I must have sounded insane, probably. I was like, okay. How does this guy know me again? I was like, I'm Jordan.
The picture that I was
Tony.
sent was very old. You look very different now.
It was funny because I had like cousin and like sister and he forgot to give me the name of the baby, so I just called it Baby. I was like, because there was a baby then. I was like, that's a baby. So yeah, that was kind of the only. And every now and again we were like, oh hi, and it was like, hi, and it was just like the most hilarious. Basically, we could have just had a barbecue at home because that's how it was. It was just if you didn't know about neurodivergence, you would have said that like the two families just didn't get on. Like it was like Capulets and Montagues. Mm-hmm. But it's not. Like we all get on really, really well. But there was just these two separate areas, and we just separated it was the most autistic barbecue. It was hilarious. The food was banging. It was so good. Like I can't wait to go back and sit in that hut by myself and eat their food. I'm thoroughly looking forward to it.
Love that.
But
that's great.
It was a lot of fun.
Social interaction. It was good. What else do you want me to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I didn't get knackered out, and I think it's because I was just like being at home because it pretty much was
home away from home in somebody else's
shed. This week, this week on the podcast.
Well, today we're going to be talking about animals and our relationships with them and how it ties in to just, you know, neurodivergence as a whole, really, because I think the relationship between animals and especially like myself as an autistic person, it covers like so many different things. It's like therapeutic. It can help me when I'm emotional, and, you know, it even helps me with like social aspects, gets me out of the house. And I have missed not having an animal in my life. So I thought this would be a really good one to talk about. And we're not alone, are we, Jordan? So it's been a while since we've had you on the podcast, Chris. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Just been finishing up uni and making the most of the summer.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same at the moment. No, it's very exciting that university's finished for you, and I'm sure you've got a lot of exciting things to come. But seeing as we're talking about animals today, like, what is your sort of relationship with animals? Have you got like a favorite animal? Is there, you know, have you got pets? Like, I'm quite intrigued. What's your relationship?
So I've grown up with pets my whole life. But in terms of animals, I've been obsessed with animals since I was like 4. You know, it's hard to say what my favorite animal would be. It changes all the time. I mean, the one I always come back to is sharks. The first word I ever learned to spell that wasn't a basic word was shark.
With a C.
Yeah. And yeah, from a young age, I could name hundreds of sharks and loads of facts about them. And then as I've gotten older, my new favourite animal is a bit non-traditional. It's actually a herringull, which is like the fancy word for the seagull. I love seagulls.
He does love a seagull.
I do love seagulls. I've written my whole dissertation about gulls.
Yeah, when we were out taking pictures of puffins and he saw two seagulls getting busy and proceeded to get very excited about this and take pictures of that instead.
Well, there is a market for that somewhere. I'm sure. I know Jordan obviously has built his career on photographs, so I was like, he lifts up his jacket and he's like, you want to see some gulls? Like, yeah, why not? That sounds great.
Gull porn.
yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad that you just, the algorithm the SEOs will love that in the transcript. I think that's cool. I've always sort of like navigated around sort of like favorite animals. I sort of like navigate through it really. I've had a period where I've liked snakes and then somebody was like, do you want to hold a snake? And it freaked me the fuck out. I was like, no, I don't.
Really? It freaked you out holding a snake?
Yeah, I just didn't like how it felt. They put it on my neck and I wasn't expecting it. And I was just a bit like, ugh, and kind of have not really liked snakes that much since. I've actually got a tattoo of a shark on my arm, Chris. I've got a tiger shark.
Oh, cool.
Because I just always really liked them. I think they're very, very cool. I've also been a fan of a nurse shark once upon a time. What about you, Jordan? Seeing as you like taking pictures of animals, you obviously must have some favourite ones.
Tigers. Just I see. I'm in a very autistic way. I will have a category. Categories is like, well, you can't just say favorite shark, favorite animal. You have to get categories. So it's like my favorite wild meat eater, tiger. Obviously, love a tiger. Then you go favorite herbivore, and I could say giraffe. That might be a bit obvious, but I'm sort of stuck between giraffe and a stag. So it's kind of just the both. I like them both. They say favorite aquatic meat eater.
Oh, he's going deep here.
Sharks, obviously. Love a tiger shark because then I get better of both worlds. Underwater tigers, freaking awesome. That's what you've really got to watch out for. Screw Jaws, underwater tiger. That's the real one. And then you go underwater herbivore, and then you've obviously got to go turtle because there's 4 of them. You know, turtles are the best. I love turtles.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then you go favorite domestic animal, and then I go my dogs, which is pretty easy. And then my cat, because my cat is kind of like a tiger. He's like a small tiger.
He is. I was thinking about that earlier today when I was driving around my estate and saw some cats, and I was like, damn, if Zeus was out here, people would stop traffic, wouldn't they? He's absolutely bloody massive, isn't he?
Oh, he's just awesome. But I can't. You can't substitute a cat's shitty attitude to a dog's, I just love everything you do. I love you so much. I can't not love the love I get from my dog.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for that.
Yeah, that's a good point, because like I've was, in prep for this episode, kind of just have been looking at sort of the relationship between like animals and just autistic, neurodivergent people in general. And a lot of people say that they really love dogs for their loyalty and their predictability. They're very like sort of routine based. When you take them out, they know when their dinner is and they'll tell you when and where it is. But then I love dogs, but I don't always love some of the sensory things that come with dogs, like panting or like begging. There's certain things
licking.
Yeah. There's like a certain couple
barking.
Yeah, it's like
the barking.
So that's what I mean. Is like there's almost like a bit of a give or take with it. And I've also been reading as well that a lot of people associate autism with cats. Like cat people generally, animals that seem to have almost like an autistic nature to them. There's like a history of sort of like independence, quiet companionship of having cats. And
I think it's a fun stereotype.
Yeah, it's a fun stereotype. Yeah, but it's interesting because I actually think as I've gotten older, I'm more of a cat person than I am a dog person, and I've always had dogs.
You look like a cat.
Yeah. I don't know where that was. I was like, yeah, cool, right, go with that. But then, like, I see, I've got a friend who's autistic ADHD, and he collects reptiles, and he's absolutely obsessed with like spiders, and he's got a huge fish tank full of like saltwater based fish, and then he'll have like toads in it, and then he had like an ocelot for a bit. And I have to admit, every time I've gone round to his house, I'm absolutely mesmerized by it. I kind of just like go into a trance state and just start putting my head against the fish tank, which is also a fun autistic stereotype.
Growing up, we had so many pets, but I had 2 iguanas.
Oh, what?
Iguana. Yeah, I had 2 iguanas. And one of them, my dad left the cage open, or the terrarium, whatever it is. And we came back and only the tail existed, and the cat was just sitting there like, thanks.
Oh.
Yeah. And
that's rough.
yeah, my dad was just heartbroken because like he knew like he had done that. But then I had one left, and his name was Pookie. Like Garfield's cuddly bear. So me and Pookie, we would walk around the house, and he'd sit on my shoulder, and we'd just walk around the house. And he's vegetarian, so we had a lady who did the cleaning, and every time she came round, because I was a little shit, I would just walk around the house with my lizard on my shoulder, and she used to get freaked out. And and I was like, well, why are you bothered? It's a vegetable. And she went, he's looking at me like I'm a tomato. And I'm like, she goes, and I'm like, well, okay, he's a vegetarian, but all right. But yeah, I was a little shit. I'd proper freaking just walk around with it on my shoulder. But he ran away because my dad forgot to close the cage again, because my dad was autistic. And you might be thinking, well, why didn't I feed them? And it's like, well, I did, and that's when the cage got closed. But it was actually found in a neighbour's garden, and she called like the pet rescue thing, and there was a TV show on Channel 4, like I think it's called Pet Rescue or something like that. And they literally filmed, like Channel 4 came and filmed the rescue of my lizard.
Did you get it back?
I did, yeah. Through a lot of red tape where they were like, are you sure you can look after this? So what happened was I went to this lady's house, and she had a lot of lizards, and like the autistic amount of lizards. And it was just, the tanks everywhere. And I looked, and he, like the one that she'd put him in was way bigger than the one we had. And she obviously cared. And I looked at it and went, I think he might be better off here. Like I loved him so much, dude. But it's like one of them got eaten, and this one got on telly. This one was famous. Fucking diva. Pookie was a diva.
Oh, so funny.
And I was like, and I had that thing where I was like such a little kid, but I had such an old head on my shoulders of just making the right decisions. And I just looked at this place and I went, he's better off here. And the lady was like, absolutely. She adored him, and she was heartbroken to let him go. And I thought, well, then don't. And I never saw him again, which was really sad. But yeah, if it wasn't for Sylvia, I'd probably have about 3 or 4 different tarantulas. And they would all be called Shelob. Shelob 1, Shelob 2, Shelob 3, Shelob Esque. I don't know. Esquire.
Oh, no. We had a spider in our house the other day, and suddenly Caris, we've bought a house together, have chosen to spend our lives together. We never discussed who was going to catch spiders. And it was nearly a make or break moment for both of us when we both stood on the bed going, you get it, no, you get it, no, you get it. And he ended up living in our bedroom for 2 days. He paid rent. He's called Boris. He was a big lad. Big
the money
geezer.
Spider. They bring you money.
I wish he would bring me money. He was a big boy.
Oh, I love a spider.
No. What
I'm not even
you?
allowed a spider tattoo because Sylvia's got arachnophobia.
Yeah,
like actual arachnophobia.
I'm good. So, like, Chris, is there ever a pet that you've ever wanted? Because I am desperate for a fish tank. Caris won't let me have one.
See, at this point in my life, I actually, I'd rather not have pets. So growing up, I like when other people have them. Like I like Jordan's pets, but the thought of actually owning one myself is a bit too stressful right now. But like the most interesting pet we've ever had. We looked after an African grey parrot for a year.
Oh, cool.
And that was amazing. I built like a real connection to it. It was very sad when we had to
Eat him.
but
Sorry.
yeah, but he was it was awesome. And we had rats as well. I had pet rats, which completely changed my perception of rats. But they were incredible.
I love rats.
Rats are amazing.
Yeah.
I love rats.
Apparently, they're really intelligent as well. Like
super intelligent. You know, it's a shame. Like, obviously, they're quite invasive in a lot of places, but they are very, very cute and very interesting. And they bring like treats to each other and stuff like that. They actually bring presents to each other. They're very very social and amazing.
I've seen rats
really
being
cool.
trained abroad to sniff out like underground mines.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very smart.
Like, you know,
Didn't
the
know
exploding type, not
Yeah.
the coal digging type. But because like these the mines, the detonators are set to a certain weight. Rats weigh less
Bowling wet.
than the amount. They can run around a certain area without them exploding. And they'll sniff them out. So they'll run and they'll stand, and they're like, that's where it is.
Mm.
Like rats have been trained in some of these places where they've got all these landmines. And yeah, incredible.
I'm interested, Chris.
creatures.
How did like owning like an exotic bird or like a rat sort of, what did it bring you? Because they're obviously like really unique animals, and like did it make you feel quite calm? Like what sort of like sensory benefits did you get from owning pets like that? I'm really interested.
So initially, it's kind of nerve-wracking, really, especially with a parrot, because they like pick certain people, and if they don't like someone, they can be really aggressive, and they judge very fast. So
Sounds a bit
there's
like
always
me,
a
to
risk,
be honest.
yeah, and there's always a risk that it'll just give you a nip for no reason. And obviously, they have like a very sharp beak that's designed for like crushing nuts and stuff like that. So if it gets hold of you, then that's pretty bad. So there was always, every time I was holding him, even though I had built a connection with it, you know, more so than everyone else, I was always still kind of nervous. I was like, please don't bite me.
Are you a parrot whisperer?
Yeah.
It's like, I've got you, baby. I've got you. It's okay.
But having the parrot like ignited my love of birds, definitely.
That's really cool. Like the only sort of like experience I've really had with birds, and it's odd, I was thinking about it literally only yesterday, is my grandpa used to keep pigeons, like proper Yorkshire stereotype, but he used to keep pigeons. And I used to love when I used to stay at his house, waking up and hearing them or like singing. And it used to be really nice to sort of just be with them and be around them. And he also used to seem very attuned with them. He used to talk to them a lot. Like he'd just walk around and feed them and have like little conversations with them. And there is this sort of like joke online, which is like, what sort of autism do you have? Do you have numbers or can you speak to animals? Like that is a meme that I've seen a lot. And I honestly used to think when I was a kid that he could talk to animals, because he used to just like talk to birds and stuff. And they almost seemed to listen to him. Like, did you find that with your parrot? Because it sounds like you had like quite a good relationship with it.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like we got to the point where we could read each other very well. Like he'd fly to me on command. He'd like settle down and fall asleep to my voice. Yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing. He used to like sit on my like chest and like feel my, like I feel like he was like almost like feeling my heartbeat almost. It was weird. We had a very, very close relationship, and he was very sweet. And he used to, so I was learning to play the keyboard, so he used to like play the keyboard for it and stuff, and I'd try and copy all the notes. So we had a very good relationship.
You make me cry.
No.
It's like I had all this time, and then someone took him away. Oh man, that sucks. But it kind of reminds me of that movie. Is it Kes?
Kes, yeah.
It's like Northern Boy meets Parrot instead.
Yeah. But no, since then, I've felt a very special connection with birds. Whenever I'm always like I like, you know, if I see a bird, I'll actually stop and try and talk to it, and sometimes they're like, especially gulls. Gulls are super inquisitive. Like if you talk to them, they kind of look at you like, huh, like that. Like they're trying to sort of figure it out. It's peculiar.
Yeah, but they're trying to figure out how to steal your chips.
They're like, you got food or not?
Yeah.
Can you feeding me? What's your
What are you
beef?
doing right now?
Well, that's a bit like my dog Ollie, like he's not really interested unless you're eating, and then he's like, "Oh, I like you now," and then as soon as you've eaten it, he's like, "Oh, screw you then, buggers off."
Yeah,
he's old and now he's a scrounger.
Yeah, there's like food orientated animals. I've always struggled to have relationships with. I'll be honest, because like the dogs that I've grown up with, I've had 3 in my life, and sort of at different ages. Where my parents had a dog before they had me, and I was with it for like the last year or so of its life as a very, very, very small child. But none of the dogs I've had have been food orientated. They've never really been bothered about food. They've always been bothered about people. And then when I interact with other dogs, like when I came down to you, Jordan, and Ollie's literally sat like 3 inches away from my face.
Oh, just
it really stressed me out. Like really stressed me out. And I was like,
I could see, yeah.
oh, I don't know what to do about this. And it's interesting, isn't it? How you can have sort of different animals and different sorts of relationships. Like my nana had a canary for years and years and years. And she actually inherited it off her dad, and he was in the mines. So canaries to him made him feel really safe, really calm. Aww. And because he always associated it with, the safety of having one in the mines. And she had it for years and years and years. It lived way longer than it should have done. It was a zombie of a thing, bless it, by the time that it went. But I've always been really fascinated with people's relationships with different types of animals. Like when I see my friend talk to his snake, and he's like, "Oh, Rodrigo, come here, Rodrigo," and I'm just like, so I'm always really fascinated by the sorts of relationships that people build with animals, especially neurodivergent people, for sure.
Sorry, I just had that thing in my head when you were talking about a zombie bird, and I was like, "Pretty boy, it's a pretty boy."
Yeah, that's boy.
That scene in Dumb and Dumber where he's just stroking the dead parakeet.
That is the joke my dad used to make with. That's what he used to say every time he saw that canary, be like, "Pretty boy, Polly, want a crack?" And it's so funny, so funny.
For me, when I was growing up, especially like the dogs, I had my dog and I had my cat, and it wasn't just the family one. It's like everyone in the family had their own pets. There was so many bloody pets in our house. I think at one point we had like 5 dogs. Oof. And I had a dog, and then like my brother had a dog, but his dog didn't like him. His dog liked me. So the little Yorkshire Terrier would just continuously come back to me, and I was like, "No, go away. I've got my own dog." I had a Border Collie cross, and like literally this little Yorkshire Terrier wouldn't leave me alone, and because I've always felt like I have an intense relationship with animals that I just feel so connected to other animals that my whole dream was to work with animals. And I think that as much as I love my life, and we're going to talk about like how animals have shaped our lives, I always have that thing where I'm like, I still wish I worked in zoology. I wish that I had done that, but then my life would be completely different. But I definitely think that there is like an empathetic connection that I can feel towards animals that I don't know if I would if I was neurotypical, because I think that it's like animals are so misunderstood and so underappreciated. I mean, just like look at the world, like humans just destroy. And I think with animals, there is that innocence. And I think that's what particularly connected me to animals. Of this animal's just innocent. Like even if they did something to harm someone, it's still innocent because it's not deliberate. There's no deliberate harm. So it's like if a tiger like attacks a human, that's not because the tiger went, "I didn't like that dude," or "I wanted his wallet." It's attacked for there's a reason. But humans, like I just couldn't figure out humans. And I studied evolution. I studied zoology. Like I've said before, I was planning on going to Cambridge. That was my plan. And I was just deeply connected and interested in animals because I could understand them to a certain degree, and I could not understand humans. Homo sapiens are the weirdest fucking animal on earth. I do not understand them still.
I think what it is like I've always found animals are so like non-human anyway, so in the moment with everything they do. I think that's what it is. Like the kind of judgment that they're passing on to you isn't, what you look like and what your hair looks like and the way you're holding yourself and the way you're talking. That's I think that's the difficult part about being neurodivergent, and you get so paranoid being around other people because you feel so judged all the time. But animals don't do that in the same way. Like Jordan was saying, it's they're doing it in more of like oh, you might be a threat to me, so I'm going to attack you, or oh, you're weird, I'm going to run away now, or like, what are you doing here? Like it's in a very different way, and it's very safe. I think for me and a lot of other neurodivergent people, you feel safe around animals.
Yeah.
I genuinely feel safer around dangerous animals than I do humans. 100%.
Yeah, humans are the most dangerous animal.
Yeah, you could say to me, go snorkeling with these sharks, or sit in a room with a bunch of random people for 10 minutes and survive, and I'd be like, I'll go with the sharks.
Yeah, animals also have patterns of behavior, so they're more predictable. Whereas humans are just completely unpredictable.
Yeah, no, I think they're all really great points, guys. And I think what we'll do is we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll discuss the biggest influences on us from the animal perspective. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This episode of the Neurodivergent Experience is brought to you by RTN Mental Health Solutions. With up to a 5-year waiting list for autism and ADHD assessments via the NHS, and that's even if you get a referral from your GP. Getting an assessment in the UK has never been harder. So if you're like me and can't wait anymore, going private may be the best option for you. RTN offers online assessments for kids aged 6 right up to adults. To make it more accessible, RTN can offer payment plans up to 5 months. You can access their remote services from the comfort of your home anywhere in the UK, and RTN offers group and one-to-one counselling, a private route to access ADHD medication following the assessment, and will even fight for you if your GP doesn't accept the results. So if you live in the UK and can't wait to get an assessment, go to www.rtnmentalhealthsolutions.com and use the discount code RTN23, making it even more affordable for all of our listeners to get an autism and ADHD assessment. Welcome back to the Neurodivergent Experience. You are with Jordan James. I'm Simon Scott, and our guest today is Chris Ash. And we've all been talking about the animals sorts of in our lives and, how we as neurodivergent people really relate to them. But I'm interested to know from both of you, and I think we'll start with Jordan here, guys. What's been your biggest influence with your relationship with animals?
Oh, it's definitely David Attenborough. Like no doubt. Like growing up, I'd read all his books. I've talked about this on the podcast before. It's like David Attenborough made me an atheist. It's like I'd read the Bible, and I did from 8 years old. I read the Bible, and I was like, I don't understand any of this. And then I would ask all the questions that I had, that an autistic child would have. Like, well, why does it do this? To all the adults around me, and like none of them had any answers, rather than, oh, stop being a doubting Thomas. So I was like, well, those aren't facts. That's not helpful. I need facts. I need clarification. So I would read David Attenborough books. I would read about, animals and evolution, and how 99.9% of species that have ever existed have gone extinct, which means that we're left with like 0.01% of, species currently. And I loved these facts. I loved knowing things because it was concrete information that would answer my questions. So obviously as well, being surrounded by animals and finding out like, oh, the dogs that I have, are evolved from wolves. They have the same DNA structure, originally from wolves. And I just used to find this fascinating. So from like a scientific perspective, my interest in animals really helped me understand that there was more to life than just what people told you. it was my first sort of foray into thinking for myself, being a critical thinker. I'm just saying, okay, well, everybody's saying it's this thing and Noah's Ark and la la la, but I'm like, well, I didn't buy any of that because it just didn't make sense to me. So my critical thinking really started with finding out about animals, and then I was obsessed. I wanted to know about every single animal because, like, they were just so fascinating, and the connection between animals. And Chris, you could take over this, but one of my favorites, two favorites. A whale is a hippo that lives in the sea. Mm-hmm. That is a genuine connection. Yeah. The evolutionary branch would split, and you would get a hippo, and it split to a whale. Brilliant. And my other one is that rhinoceroses are in fact horses. So it's like, rhinos are real life unicorns because they're horses, they're battle armor horses with a horn. They're horny horses. And it's all to do with the feet, and it's all part of the same family. And I just like stuff like that. Stuff like that. It absolutely presses my autism buttons, and it just makes me so excited. And I just love stuff like I love seeing stuff like that. It's that pattern recognition. And as you can hear from my voice, it makes me so excited to know things like that and understand things like that. Or it's like, oh, well, there's this God and he made everything. And I'm like, well, that's not enough information. I need more than that. And I'm not sitting there going, oh, you're wrong if you believe in God, because like everybody's got their own thing. I'm just saying that's not where my brain went, and that's not how I feel, because I had facts. And that's where my brain went. My brain saw the facts and it just figured it out itself. So that was my influence, was reading David Attenborough books and then watching David Attenborough shows and listening to David Attenborough audio books and just David. Good old
just
David.
Just a big fan of David's. Reach out to us, David. We'd love to have a chat. What about you, Chris?
So for me, like, remember how I was saying earlier that there's different types of autistic people. There's the mass people, and then there's the people that can speak to animals. Most of my family are the can speak to animals type. So growing up, me and my family would go for walks, and it'd just be so much curiosity. It would be like, oh, I wonder what that is. I wonder what this is, and it'd be like teaching me from a young age what everything is. Like going for walks with my dad, we'd discover so much. We'd just question everything, and we wonder what everything is, and everything was like we want to learn about it and stuff. And he lived abroad in Bermuda for a few years. So we spent like hours and hours and hours just snorkeling around the island and kayaking and looking for all kinds of cool stuff. And then my grandma, she was a massive influence. She's like me in the sense of people are a bit of an alien subject to her. But then with animals, she's amazing. She just understands them so well, and she really taught me how to empathize with animals 100%, especially cats. She had like 7 cats at one point.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I think 7, and they were the most pampered cats you've ever seen. All of them. She took better care of the cats than she did anyone and anything else.
The aristocrat.
Yeah, and then my mum as well. My mum just she's very I'd say like in tune. She's very in tune with nature. She loves it. She's obsessed with like the moon and the sea and mountains, and so there's always been a very special connection between me and my mum. Especially with hiking. We have a saying, like, my mum's obsessed with we're both obsessed with the Superman movies. So whenever we go for hikes and stuff, she calls it making the world small, like Superman from Superman.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of my whole family life, like connection to wildlife's been a big part of it. And then in terms of the way I've educated myself and stuff through, obviously David Attenborough, and Steve Backshall, and people like that. And It's just been a massive part of my whole life, really.
Yeah, as
I love that.
as I'm listening to you both, it's sort of really relating to me as well. It's like I vividly remember watching Blue Planet for the first time and just being blown away by it.
That was my first ever Blu-ray.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember vividly watching I remember watching Blue Planet for the first time and just being absolutely like mesmerized by it. And if I actually think about like some of the things that have really influenced my life, I think about like films like Fox and the Hound and Robin Hood,
man,
and things like
Disney,
that. They have really sort of influenced my sort of relationship with animals. And I think about like, my nana and my granddad, they were both the sort of people that could look at a blackbird and go, oh, I bet that's about 2 years old. And they could just tell by the plumage and everything, just sort of how old birds were, or just like the sort of experiences that they'd had. And also thinking about it, I have thalassophobia, which is a fear of deep water. Even though I love the ocean and I love animals in the ocean, my cousin has a special interest in sharks, and we went on a holiday to my grandparents who used to live abroad when I was younger, and she made me watch Jaws for the first time when I was about 7. And I didn't go in the shower for the entire rest of the holiday. I didn't go in the pool. I was terrified of sharks for years and years and years. It's one of the reasons as to why I have a tattoo of a shark, because it's a bit like, embrace your fears. And I still get a bit funny when I'm around really deep water. Even like when I'm on holiday, I'll go in the sea and there'll just be a moment where like my brain will flash and I'll just go, and I have to get out. It's not like I have to get out. It's I run out of, like, literally get out as quick as I can. But I'm a really strong swimmer and I love the ocean. I love animals in the ocean. I love turtles. I've been swimming with turtles, but one of the only reasons as to why I enjoyed it was because I could actually see through the water, because I was in the Caribbean and the water's like glass. It's just absolutely like incredible being there. And I got the opportunity to sort of swim with one. And for just like the briefest of moments, I had my fingers on the shell of a turtle and it just naturally pulled me in the water for about 4 or 5 seconds. And I think about that moment quite a lot, of just how like in tune with sort of nature and how very present I felt in that moment. But I'm still really, really scared of like deep water. Like I watch like programs where they're out in the ocean, or I watched that documentary about the Titan Gate thing. And even when I'm seeing footage of it going down into dark, it freaks me out. It makes me sort of twinge up a little bit. So when you think about all of these different things and how it can influence you, like the people around you, the information that they share, how you get that sort of, that magical feeling of new information, or where something clicks with your autistic brain and you just go down that rabbit hole. There's so much out there, like, Walking with Dinosaurs. I loved that show as a kid. Would watch it on repeat and repeat. I've yet to watch the new one, but I vividly remember watching the old one. And I also remember watching loads of Steve Irwin programs when I was a kid. I used to watch that religiously with my nana, because she only had like 6 TV channels and Steve Irwin used to be on.
The whole 6? Man, we're only
those
4, and then Channel 5 came out and we were all celebrating.
Oh, you should have
like we won the World Cup. Hooray, another channel. And now we have so many channels, we don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, I vividly remember watching Steve Irwin and sort of like Crocodile Hunter, and just being so amazed that animals like that just existed in everyday life for everyday people. But you'd see people just like in their back garden, they go, oh, fuck. And then there's just like an alligator, just like a crocodile or whatever. Just
it made me go, I'm not going to Australia.
Just lift up the honestly, I vividly remember watching Steve Irwin when I was a kid. And I still do this instinctively when I'm somewhere that I'm not used to. Even if I'm in a freaking service station in Warwick, I will check under the toilet seat for spiders before I sit on it. And that's so silly.
Yeah, I remember listening
it's
to it.
It's burned in my brain. It's like black widows, they fuck you up. Lift up the seat and check them. It's just like, it's just stuck in my head.
There was a Reddit story where a guy in Australia, he's gone to the toilet in where he works.
Oh, no.
And he stood up and there's just a tarantula-looking thing. It's just crawling from underneath the seat.
Yeah, it's a wolf spider, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's just screamed.
Fuck that.
And it's like, fucking hell.
No.
And
I actually feel a bit sweaty just even thinking about that.
But the funniest thing is that his colleagues were like, just they were making jokes about it, and like they got this HR thing of like, oh, we're really sorry. Where did the spider touch you? And like, you've got to like, and they made like a whole joke of it, and he thought it was really funny as well. This traumatic experience. It's just like in Australia, it's like, well, g'day, mate. I've got a spider on my bum. And I'm just like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, crikey, there was a massive one. And I was like, well, if that happened in England, I'd probably try and like make it a pet or something, because we'd be like, oh my God. But it's kind of like in England, like when you get snow and you're like, oh my God, there's snow. Whereas like in Canada, like, oh, well, that's just snow then. So I suppose like,
4 more inches of it in the last hour. And also as well, like I remember I went to Norway a couple of years ago, and they had like outside of this coffee shop a life-size like plastic moose, and I remember standing next to it and just being like, "Fucking hell!" Like, could you imagine just driving your car and just see one of those just pop out? And I was talking to a couple of locals who'd lived there their entire lives and had never seen one, and yet there was some people you talk to, they'd be like, "Oh, I see him every other week." And I just almost can't imagine like animals like that just being in your everyday life. Living in the UK, we're quite, we don't have big things like that, I guess, do we?
Well, I mean, you got stags. I mean, I've seen a lot of stags, and stags are about the biggest animal I've come across in the UK. Obviously, I saw a grizzly bear in Canada. That was pretty special. I can't imagine
what that would have been like. Just the feeling it would have given you just being in the presence of an animal like that.
Shit.
Yeah.
Jesus, that was like 600-pound bear. I'm like, hi there, how are you doing? Do you mind if I take a picture? He started doing poses. It was amazing.
It's like when I listened to a couple of podcasts that are set in California, and people are like, you got to watch out for bobcats, man. They'll kill your dog. Like, I just can't imagine that there's just like a small lion just roaming around. It just
the worst we got is like angry squirrels.
Yeah, even that.
It's like throwing nuts here.
It's the most like, argumentative thing you get is like, oh, a squirrel's knocked my bird feeder over. Whereas like in America, you're like, a bear took my dog. And it's just sort of like so natural to them. Like that, they have like raccoons, like just trash pandas everywhere. And you just can't sort of imagine having that sort of thing over here in the UK. And if you're an American listening to this, I would quite like to hear some of your bear stories if you've got one or anything like that, because squirrels is about as exciting as it gets over here.
Well, and a rubbish fox that just goes through your bins.
Oh, yeah. Not that, yeah. I lived in London for 8 years, and I saw all sorts of shapes and sizes of foxes. And I always used to think, why are you living here? There's so many other places you could live that just don't live
that's
here.
The point, is that they were living here first.
Yeah.
And we have destroyed all their land, and they don't have anywhere else to go, because humans are a disease. And that's where we can go for a break.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. What a fun little place to hold it. If you want to put an ad after that, that'd be nice, I suppose. Humans are a disease. Now buy our product. Why not? Well, we'll be right back after these short words.
Listen up! You can get the new iPhone 16e with Apple Intelligence for just $49.99 when you switch to Boost Mobile. We pulled so many all-nighters to give you this deal, and hey, stop messing with the mic!
I'm just helping us catch people's attention. This is a great deal!
Exactly, so it doesn't need all that.
Fine.
Head to your nearest Boost Mobile store right now.
Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store for full offer details. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later. Restrictions apply.
Have you ever felt stuck in patterns that don't serve you? Struggled with stress or wanted to connect more deeply with yourself? Then I have to introduce you to a friend of the podcast, Ashley Bentley of Integrated Coaching, Breathwork and Hypnotherapy. Ashley is a highly experienced clinical hypnotherapist and coach specializing in working with neurodivergent minds. Through a unique blend of integrative coaching, breathwork, and hypnotherapy, Ashley helps people rewire subconscious patterns, regulate their nervous systems, and step into more empowered versions of themselves. Whether you're dealing with addiction, anxiety, burnout, or struggles with self-acceptance, Ashley offers practical and science-backed tools tailored just for you. Her unique methods combine neuroscience, storytelling, and subconscious transformation to create real, lasting change. Jordan and I can personally attest to the profound and transformative effects of her sessions, which have been life-changing. She does all of these sessions online, meaning she can work with you no matter where you are in the world. If you're ready to break free from old patterns and start living with more clarity, confidence, and connection, go to bit.ly/AshleyNDE to book a free consultation or learn more. Welcome back to the Neurodivergent Experience. We've been talking all about animals and our sorts of relationships with them and how autistic people in general develop relationships with animals. It's been a really fun and fascinating conversation. But Jordan and Chris, I'm interested to know, how has your love for animals shaped your lives?
Well, I think most people know my photography, and if you're listening to this and you haven't seen my photography, check out my Pick Fair store, Jordan James Pick Fair. You can browse through that and check out my Facebook page, my Instagram. Just search for Jordan James. You'll be able to see my photography. And wildlife photography is absolutely one of my favorite, because the whole point of me doing photography for me is mental health. It's just having a moment in time that I can freeze that moment where I'm so happy in that moment, and I can capture that and bottle that happiness, and then I can take that happiness home with me. And when I'm struggling, when I'm not in the best place, I can look at those pictures and I can be vividly reminded of those wonderful, wonderful moments. And from sunsets, to oceans and mountains and trees and forests, all beautiful, wonderful moments. But it's that essence of capturing a robin or, a stag that's just there and it's just staring and it's just me and the stag. And sometimes I just sort of have to catch my breath of like, holy crap, like this is incredible. Because sometimes when you do the photography, you're sort of so caught up in the photography, you forget about the moment. So you've got to go.
You're capturing the moment,
not
thinking about it, feeling it. Yeah.
So often I'll just put the camera down and I'll just look, and it's just me and this stag, or me and this bear, or me and this giant fish that was like in this pond in America. There was this huge, huge catfish, and it just kept coming up and bloop, bloop. And it was just so cool to be in that moment. And puffins, man, just the puffins, just going to Skomer Island and seeing the puffins just doing their thing. And they're so adorable and so cute. And I love being around these animals, and I love capturing those moments, and I love sharing the beauty of these animals around the world with all my followers, and the fact that people buy these pictures and they get to appreciate my moments as art and decorations for their house, I guess. But yeah, it's just a wonderful thing that I can experience and I can share. And what I'm really delighted is that Chris is now also into photography, and he's my Padawan. I've been training him, but to be fair, there's not a lot I need to do because he picks it up so quickly. He's just great. He's honestly, his pictures of the puffins because we went to Skomer Island together, and his pictures of puffins were phenomenal. Like first time out there, and I was like, wow, dude, just so impressed.
Yeah. Oh, is it my turn? Sorry.
It is, yeah. You get to talk now, Chris.
Yeah, no, like Jordan was saying, like recently getting into like wildlife photography has been for me anyway, has been a really, really good opportunity to like deepen my connection even more. There's something like really special about like when you see a moment, being able to actually keep that single frame forever. That's there now. That's yours. And there's something really special about that, definitely. And I think like having the neurodivergent connection and understanding to wildlife makes it. I think it's a massive advantage in lots and lots of ways. Like because I'm very, 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 very hypersensitive as an individual. So when I'm out taking wildlife, when I'm out doing that wildlife photography and whatnot, nothing can get past me at all. Like I hear a tiny rustling in the bush and I'll spot it like that.
Oh, going out with him is so beneficial because I'm blind as fuck, right? And he's got eagle eyes. He's got eagle eyes to the fact that he's spotting eagles, and I'm just like, what? But yeah, like honestly, it's so beneficial because he's like stag, and I'm like, I'm looking, and I still can't see it. He's like, it's right there, and I'm like, but yeah, that's great. It's such a great thing to be able to have when you're out there doing it.
Definitely, yeah, it really does have its advantages, and also just like being able to spot patterns around animals and stuff. You can, like, and I know people, and I'm currently trying to learn to do this, that can recognize birds from sounds and wing patterns and stuff like that, just because they're so good at recognizing behaviors and patterns and whatnot. And that's a real skill that I want. I'm working towards it. But yeah, it's massively helpful. Yeah, no, I'm dedicating my life to it. Basically, is what I want to do. I want to dedicate my whole life to protecting wildlife. That's why I chose the degree I did and stuff like that. And yeah.
So what was the degree?
So I did business and environment, because basically I don't have a science background necessarily. So my degree combines like typical business studies with biosciences and geography and stuff like that. And while you're there, you can choose kind of where you want to focus more of your sites. So for me, it was always on the environmental side, and that's like I said, this has led me to write my dissertation about herring gulls, which was a crazy experience to be fair.
No, that's incredible. Like, I can really sort of imagine with everything that you're pulling together, you would make a brilliant conservationist and have the ability to take photos in this space and show how important these animals are for their environments. Because I've heard Jordan mention before about when you've been to see the owls and things like that, because I've always loved owls and found like such a beautiful fascination with them. I remember like years ago, I was driving really late at night. This is when I used to work between London and Manchester. And I had a barn owl literally fly out in the front of my car, and it must have flown for maybe half a mile, just me in the car down this country road. And it really felt like a sort of coming home to nature sort of feeling. And after that, I have tried to be outdoors a lot more. I've spent the best part of 10 years sat behind a desk at a computer doing what I do. And the sort of like reliable emotional connection that somebody can make with an animal really can't be understated. Like something that you were discussing there, like having the ability to look at a plane and go, there's a stag there. Not too long ago, that was a huge integral part of just society in general. Having somebody in your tribe who has the ability to look on a horizon and go, that's that there. Or even, looking at certain birds in the sky and going, well, if that bird can see prey, then there's prey there for me as well. And all of these sorts of relationships. And I really feel like just as the modern world, we're really losing that connection with Mother Earth. And I think it's so great that you are choosing to commit your life to something, because I commit my life to conversation. When you were talking about photos, that's how I imagine podcasts. They're like sonic photographs. I can listen to audio of somebody talking in 1940. I close my eyes and I'm with them. And I like how, both of you have the ability to take a moment and somebody can open their eyes and be with you, behind the camera, having that conversation mentally with a stag, or looking at a puffin and feeling like you're at Skomer Island, or like where I used to live in Yorkshire, there's Bempton Cliffs about an hour away. And I used to be fascinated with watching the puffins diving off there, or watching like gannets feed and seals coming onto the beach and just sunbathing and things like that. And I find from like a mental health perspective, just being in the moment turns so much off in my brain, like rejection sensitivity, perception sensitivity, rumination. It all just sounds like turns off when I'm in these spaces.
Yeah, it's that hyper focus that you can just, that's the thing that I really love about having something you can be passionate about, whether it's photography, whether it's Lego, whether it's video games, or whether it's just bird watching. You know, I always have this thing where I see people like with binoculars and I'm like, do you not want a camera? But it's like, I think that those people, even though they can't bottle that moment, even though they can't capture that moment, I think like they can capture that moment in their mind. Like that they can just experience that in their brain. Also, I think it's like bird bingo or something. I've got that one. Cha-ching. But yeah, like or even train spotting, whatever it is that you're doing, and you can just shut out the rest of the world. I think it's so beneficial just for mental health in general. I mean, you know, neurodivergence aside, I think we have more mental health issues than most because we're so sensitive. But I just think in mental health, and especially with men, because we don't talk about our mental health as much as we should do. I know I do.
Yeah, there's definitely a space for that, isn't it?
You can't shut me up. I've got problems. Most of them are in my brain. But it's like, I think like that's why you see a lot of like hobbyist men. It's like they'll collect, you know, trains, or they'll collect toys or whatever they're doing, you know. And I think that it is their way of just trying to make themselves happy when life just really sucks. And I think that that's why animals are so important to us, it seems, because they are part of that mental health journey for us. They are part of that thing that makes us happy, because that's what we keep needing. We want to be happy. And especially when you can combine those interests of my interest in photography, my interest in animals, and then my interest in talking about it. So it's like Chris and I will get on so well because we can talk about animals, we can talk about photography, and we can talk about those moments, and we have that connection. And that's when you get that neurodivergent connection. And I think that's always a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I love you, Keith.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and it's so wonderful as well. When I love seeing a neurodivergent relationship develop around a special interest. You know, if like when somebody feels like there's sort of like a camaraderie, I think of like special interests as like social bridges. You know, and when you find somebody who likes animals like you do, it's like I have family members that I've never really been that close to, but they like animals and I like animals, and it feels like you can find a sort of human connection in that way. And I love that for both of you. I think it's great that you've both got such shared interests. And as well, I also think you can sort of judge people on their relationship with animals as well. It's always been a really good signifier for me of sort of whether I rate people or not, I guess. It's like if somebody's not very kind, it's like going on a date with somebody and they're not kind to the person that's serving you. It gives you an instant sort of like red flag in life, right? So I often wonder, you know, what would my life be like? How would it be different if I'd not had animals or not had an appreciation for animals and nature? And I think I'm a lot better for it. And I'm sure you two feel the same.
Yeah, definitely. I think it makes me really angry when people make no effort to understand animals. You know, a lot of people just seem to like refuse to want to. And it can come across as this end up being like really, really disrespectful. Like I've seen, obviously, where I went to uni down in Cornwall, there's gulls everywhere, and people are so nasty to them for no reason at all. Yeah. And they're you know, people don't realize how important gulls are, and you know, and people are always like say nasty things about like grey squirrels and rats and animals which are like considered invasive. You find this a lot of people are they're nasty things, they're this, they're that.
They call them vermin, don't they?
Vermin, yeah. And they really demonize a lot of animals. And what people need to realize is that it's not their fault, you know?
No, it's humans' fault.
Yeah.
It's just their ecosystem. It's just they're just doing what they're programmed, designed to do. It's us that's going against our design and our nature.
We are the only true invasive species.
Yeah.
And we are just the worst.
Yeah, we're not great,
I think
are we?
people. There's a
We're
serious lack
lovely,
there's a serious lack of respect, definitely.
but it's
I
all the
think-
rest that are problem.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I really appreciate you talking about this. And Chris, thank you so much for joining us again. I always really love to hear sort of like your perspective on life. And I think you, for such a young kid, you've got a lot of wisdom in your mind and a lot of empathy. And I think any sort of conservation space or any of, world wildlife working would be very, very lucky to have you. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next, and definitely want to hear from people that are listening as well. How have animals affected your life? How important are them to you? Are you sat listening to this surrounded by 12 cats? Let us know. It would be great to hear from you. And then after this, tomorrow, we've got a hot topic coming up, Jordan. Is it a fun one?
Well, it really depends on how the government do from now on. But we will be talking about the PIP changes, the last second changes to the welfare bill that the government backed away and went, maybe we should talk to disabled people before we try and ruin their fucking lives. So, I don't know. Yes, no, it's an informative one.
Oh, well, look forward to that. We will be back with you tomorrow. Thank you for listening to the Neurodivergent Experience. Chris, thank you so much for joining us again. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Nightly bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Neurodivergent Experience. We hope today's episode sparked something for you, whether it's a new idea, a bit of validation, or just a moment of connection. Remember, new episodes are every week, so be sure to join us for the next one for more conversations and insights into the neurodivergent experience. If you've enjoyed this podcast, help us grow. You can do that by rating and reviewing this show. Your support makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just search for the Neurodivergent Experience. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, take care of yourself. You're not alone in this journey.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Lies, exploitation, and the American dream turned nightmare. This is Big Sugar, a deep dive into the inner workings of the sugar industry. I'm Celeste Headley, and in a new podcast, I'm investigating a true crime story like no other about the men who risked their lives to cut sugarcane. In Big Sugar from iHeartMedia, Imagine Audio, and the teams at Weekday Fun and Novel, I'll unravel a decades-long fight to get justice.
If they were right, then these workers were owed tens of millions of dollars in extra wages.
Listen to Big Sugar wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.